Vishnupurana. Tale of Nimi. Ikshvaku's son Nimi once decided to organize a yajna that was to last for 1,000 years. He also wanted the sage Vashishta to guide the yajna. But Indra had already booked Vashishta for a period of 500 years. So sage Vashishta expressed his inability to conduct any other yajna till the completion of that period, and requested the king to wait till he was free from Indra's obligations. Nimi kept quiet at that time. Taking his silence as an approval, the sage began the yajna for Indra. But the king meanwhile started yajna in the auspices of other sages like Gautama etc. At the completion of yajna for Indra, sage Vashishta hurried back to the earth to conduct yajna for King Nimi. But here he found that a yajna was already in progression. This infuriated the sage to the extent that he poured down curse on Nimi, who was sleeping at that time, to lose his body at once. When the king learned about the curse and that he was cursed in sleep, he cursed the sage in retaliation, to lose his body at once before giving up his own body. By the curse of Nimi, Vashishta's body was destroyed, but he himself entered the semen of Mitra Varuna. Thereafter, one day Mitra Varuna happened to see the Apsara Urvashi. Her amorous beauty caused the ejaculation of his semen spontaneously. With ejaculated semen, sage Vashishta also came out and acquired a new body. On the other hand, at end of yajna when the gods appeared to accept their due share from the offerings, the sages prayed them to grant Nimi some boon. Nimi however sought nothing in boon, but expressed his desire to stay in eyes of the people forever. The gods granted that desire. Before that nobody had ever blinked his eyes. Blinking of eyes came into practice, because Nimi stays there. In order to save the kingdom from anarchy, the sages churned the dead body of Nimi with a stick of bombax tree, and produced a son. That son came to known as Janaka. Since he was born from the dead body of his father, the boy also came to be known as Vaidya. Lineage of Janaka continued as follows: Janaka, Udavasu, Nandavardhan, Sukatu, Devarat, Brihadukth, Mahavirya, Sudrati, Drishtkatu, Haryashva, Manu, Pratit, Kritrat, Devbid, Vibud, Mahadrati, Kritraj, Maharoma, Shuvanaroma, Krasiroma, and Siddhvaj. With a desire of a son, Siddhvaj was once ploughing the earth, when he stumbled upon a pitcher. In the pitcher, he found a beautiful baby, whom he named as Sita. Soma Vanshan PURURAVA. The creator of the world, Brahma had a son named Atri. Chandrama was the son of Atri. Once Chandrama organized a Rajasuya yajna and received great powers. Afterwards, blinded by his powers, Chandrama kidnapped Tara, the wife of Brihaspati. Even his grandfather Brahma tried to dissuade him from committing such a grave crime, but Chandrama was not to listen to anybody. Because his hostility with Brihaspati, the teacher of the demons Shukra was also assisting Chandrama. At that moment of need, only Rudra came forward to help Brihaspati. A fierce battle followed between Chandrama and Rudra. The gods were helping Brihaspati, while because of Shukra, the demons fought from the side of Chandrama. Soon the battle assumed the proportion of a war that perplexed the entire world. At last, Lord Vishnu mediated to end the battle and helped Brihaspati to get his wife back. By that time Tara had conceived a child. Seeing her condition, Brihaspati instigated Tara to abort the baby. Tara aborted the baby amidst some shrubs, but it did not die. Instead, his brilliance dulled even the radiance of the gods. The baby was so beautiful that both Brihaspati and Chandrama were eager to accept him. To settle the matter, Brahma asked Tara about the paternity of the child. Feeling shy, Tara revealed that Chandrama was the father of the child. Then Brahma himself adopted the child and named him as Buddha. When he grew up, Buddha produced Pururava, from Mala. Pururava was very magnanimous and handsome. Once an Apsara Urvashi happened to see him, and at once fell in love. She then approached Pururava. Her beauty enchanted Pururava also. He requested the Apsara to stay with him. But Urvashi stipulated that she might stay with him, if he agreed to follow her two conditions: that he would never drive the two sheep, which were like her children, away from her bed, and that he would never undress before her, in visible light. Pururava accepted both the conditions. Since then Pururava began to live with Urvashi. Together they enjoyed their physical intimacy, for 60,000 years. Their love grew so much that, even Urvashi forgot those heavenly comforts, that she used to enjoy once. Because of her absence, even the heaven appeared more dreaded than hell. At last, Vishwavasu, who knew about the conditions, stole one sheep from their bedroom, and flew away. Hearing the cries of the sheep, Urvashi got up in anxiety, and shouted who was stealing her son. But Pururava pretended asleep, for the fear of being seen naked. As the fuss grew further, he could no more contain himself, and ran after the thief. Right at that moment, the Gandharvas produced intense lightning, illuminating the whole scene. As a result, Urvashi saw Pururava in a naked state, and at once left his palace to her heavenly abode, for now both of her conditions had been violated. Pururava could not tolerate the separation of Urvashi. He began to roam here and there, in that bare condition like mad. Thus roaming, he reached at Kamalsarova in Kurukshetra, where he saw Urvashi with 4 other elves. Seeing Urvashi, Pururava began to behave madly. It was impossible for him to control his sensual desires, even in the presence of other elves. But Urvashi stopped him, saying that she was expecting an issue, and after a year, she will give birth to his child. She also promised at that time, she will stay with him for a night. After a year King Pururava once again reached that place, where Urvashi handed over his son Ayu. As per her promise, she also stayed with Pururava for a night, and consequently later gave birth to 5 more sons. Urvashi informed Pururava, that because of their love Gandharvas wished to bless him with a boon. Pururava sought a lifelong union with Urvashi. Gandharvas presented him with an altar, and instructed to conduct regular yajas properly. Then all of his desires would come true, the Gandharvas assured Pururava. But King Pururava left that altar in the forest, and returned to his capital. At midnight, he awakened suddenly as if from a trance, and hurried to the forest, to recover his altar. But the altar was no more there, it had transformed into a peepal tree. Pururava got that tree felled, and brought it to his capital, where the carpenters made a rani, a wooden implement used in ancient India to produce fire, from its wood. Since then Pururava conducted regular yajas, with the help of that Arani, and attained to the Gandharvaloka, where he was never separated from Urvashi again. JAMADAGNI and VISHWAMITRA. Pururava had 6 sons, Ayu, Amavasu, Vishwavasu, Shrutayu, Shatayu, and Ayutayu. Amavasu had a son Bhima, and Bhima in turn had a son Kanchan. Janu was the son of Kanchan's son, Sahatra. At the time of Ganga's descent on earth, when Janu saw his hermitage inundated, he drank all her water. He released the Ganges only when the Devarishi sprayed him. Since then Ganges also came to be known as Jahnavi, the daughter of Janu. Lineage of Janu grew as follows: Janu, Sumant, Ajak, Balakashva, and Kashur. Kashur had 4 sons, Kasham, Kushnam, Adhertua, and Vasu. Kasham observed severe penance with a desire to have a son like Indra. Pleased by his penance, Indra himself took birth as his son. He came to be known as Kaushik. Kaushik had a daughter named Satyavati, who got married to Rishik. Sage Rishik prepared Ghee in two parts, one for his wife Satyavati and another for Satyavati's mother. Instructing Satyavati, he went to the forest. When Satyavati and her mother were about to eat the ghee, her mother exchanged her part of ghee with that of her daughter, saying that her son had to foster the world, while the son of the sage had nothing to do with wealth and all that. Satyavati agreed to that and ate that part of ghee, which was reserved for her mother, whereas her mother ate Satyavati's part. When Rishik returned from the forest, he noticed formidable changes in the body of his wife. He understood that she had eaten her mother's part of the ghee. Angrily the sage predicted that she would have a son, who would be Kshatriya-like in virtues, whereas her mother would have Brahman-like son. Satyavati begged pardon and requested the sage to change his prediction, saying that the crime was committed by mistake, and that she would be happy to have a Kshatriya-like grandson, but not a son. At her request the sage changed his prediction. As per the prediction, Satyavati gave birth to Jamadagni, whereas her mother gave birth to Vishwamitra. After giving birth to Jamadagni, turned into the river named Kaushiki. Later, as a partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Parashurama took birth as the son of sage Jamadagni. Kashavansh. Pururava's son Ayu had been married to Ru's daughter. They had 5 sons, Nahush, Kshatravartin, Ramp, Viraji, and Anina. Sahatra was the son of Kshatravartin. He had 3 sons, Kashaya, Kash, and Gritsamid. Shaunak was the son of Gritsamid, whereas Kashya was the son of Kashaya. Lineage of Kashya grew as Kashya, Rashtra, Durdhakapa, and Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari's body was free from all the physical faults like aging and diseases. Dhanvantari's lineage grew as Dhanvantari, Ketchuman, Bhimrat, Dibodas, and Pratardan. Pratardan was also known as Shatrujit because of his conquering his enemies. Since he had acquired a horse named Kulavi, he also came to be known as Kulvaishva. Pratardan had a son named Alaka, who enjoyed his rule on earth for 66,000 years. Lineage of Alaka continued as follows: Sanati, Sunith, Sukatu, Dharmaketu, Satyaketu, Vibhu, Suvibhu, Sakama, Dristhhaketu, Vishahatra, Bhaga, and Bhagbhumi. It was progeny of Bhagbhumi who gave rise to 4 classes of people. King Raji and his sons. King Raji had 500 sons. Once at the beginning of battle between the demons and the gods, they appeared before Brahma and inquired as to which part would win. Brahma said that only that part would win, which would be aided by King Raji. First the demons approached Raji, and requested him to fight from their side. King Raji stipulated that he would fight only when the demons agreed to appoint him as their Indra. The demons told him that Prahlada was their Indra and returned. Then the gods also approached King Raji and requested him to take their side. Raji put the same condition before them also, to which the gods agreed. In a fierce battle, and aided by King Raji, the gods defeated the demons. After their victory, Indra bowed before King Raji, and expressed his desire to present him with the kingdom of heaven. Thus King Raji became Indra. After the demise of Raji, Narada instigated his sons to rule heaven. All the 500 sons of Raji approached Indra, and requested him to permit them to rule heaven, but Indra refused. At that Raji's sons dethroned Indra forcibly and themselves became Indra. After much time had passed, Indra approached Brihaspati, and prayed him to help him regain the rule of heaven. Brihaspati assured him that he would soon establish him at the throne. Afterwards Brihaspati created illusions in the minds of Raji's sons. He also conducted many yajnas to increase the radiance of Indra. Guided by the illusions, Raji's sons began to behave in anti-religious ways. Then Indra easily killed them all, and regained his designation. Tale of Yayati. Nahusha had 6 sons, Yati, Yayati, Samyati, Ayati, Viyati, and Kriti. Yayati had 2 wives, Devayani, the daughter of Shukracharya, and Sharmishtha, the daughter of Vrishparva. Devayani gave birth to Yadu and Turvasu, whereas Sharmishtha gave birth to Druhayu, Anu, and Puru. Because of a curse of Shukracharya, old age had descended on Yayati prematurely. Yayati then requested his eldest son, Yadu, to exchange his youth with his old age, but Yadu refused. Then Yayati requested each of his sons one by one, but all of them refused plainly for the fear of getting old prematurely. At last Yayati's youngest son Puru gladly accepted his request, and gave him his youth. Regaining the youth, Yayati once again indulged in carnal pleasures, with both his queens. But every day his desire for pleasures increased, like a fire flared up by ghee. After 1,000 years, Yayati realized his mistake, and decided to expiate for his sin. Thus, Yayati returned Puru his youth, and acquired his old age once again. Then crowning Puru as the king, he took exile to the forest. Yaduvansh and Sahasrajana. Yayati's eldest son Yadu had 4 sons, Sahasrajit, Kroshtu, Nala, and Nahusha. Sahasrajit had a son Shatajit, who had 3 sons Hayihaya, Hayhaya, and Venuhaya. Lineage of Hayihaya grew as Dharma, Dharmantra, Kunti, Sahajit, Mahishman, Bhadrashanya, Dudab, and Danak. Danak had 4 sons, Kritavirya, Kritani, Kritdharma, and Kritor. Kritavirya had a son Arjuna. Arjuna had worshipped Dattatreya and by his blessings, acquired 1,000 arms. Since then he came to be known as Sahasrajana. Dattatreya had blessed him with many other boons, like rule of entire earth, fostering of his subjects in religious ways, and killing by some human being, famous in all the 3 worlds. At that time, there was no other king equal to Sahasrajana in virtues. He ruled the entire earth for 85,000 years. Once Sahasrajana was enjoying his pastime on the waters of Narmada, when he happened to have an encounter with Ravana, the king of Lanka. Sahasrajana captured Ravana easily and imprisoned him at an isolated place in his kingdom. With time, ego of Sahasrajana had crossed all limits. He began to terrorize the sages and other religious people. When his atrocities increased beyond tolerance level, Lord Vishnu took a partial incarnation, as Parashurama, the son of sage Jamadagni and Renuka. As per the prediction of sage Rishik, Parashurama grew with Kshatriya-like virtues. He had in fact taken incarnation, to relieve the earth from the atrocities of egoist kings. Parashurama had received arms training, from none other than Lord Shiva. He was very obedient to his father, and had beheaded his own mother by the Parashu axe that he had received from Lord Shiva at the dictate of his father. In due course Parashurama not only got Ravana released from captivity but also killed Sahasrajana. Sahasrajana had 100 sons, among whom Shirsana, Vrishasana, Madhu and Jadwaj were prominent. Jadwaj had a son Taljunga. Taljunga had 100 sons, among whom Vitahatra and Bharata were prominent. Bharata again had 100 sons, whereas Madhu also had 100 sons, among whom Vrishani was prominent. After the name of their forefather Yadu, this clan came to be known as Yaduvansh. Kroshtuvansh. Lineage of Kroshtu grew as follows: Kroshtu, Dwajnivan, Swati, Rushanku, Chitrarat, Rashabandhu. Rashabandhu had 1,00,000 queens and 10,00,000 sons, among whom Prithusharva, Prithukamas, Prithukirti, Prithuyasha, Prithujay and Prithushan were prominent. In their lineage later on occurred a king named Jayamad. He was so dedicated to his wife Shavya, that despite being childless, he did not dare to marry other women, because of her fear. Once, Jamad took part in the fierce battle, in which he defeated all his enemies. While he was about to return, he heard pitiable cries of a woman. He saw a beautiful young lady, who was crying for her protection. Jamad was so infatuated by her beauty, that he took her to his kingdom. When they reached the gate of the palace, the king saw that the queen Shavya was waiting for him along with a big crowd. When Shavya saw a beautiful young lady sitting beside the king on the chariot, she began to shout at him. The horrified king tried to explain that the young lady was his daughter-in-law. The queen shouted even louder, that when they did not have a son, whence the daughter-in-law came. But the king explained that he had selected a wife for the would-be son. As the effect of their conversation, Queen Shavya soon conceived and gave birth to a son, in spite of her advancing age. They named the son as Vidarbha. In due course, Vidarbha got married to that lady, whom his father had brought home earlier. They had 3 sons, Krit, Kaushik, and Ramapad. Ramapad had received preaching from Narada. Lineage of Krit grew as follows: Krit, Kunti, Grishti, Nayati, Dashad, Vyoma, Jimut, Vikriti, Bhimrat, Navarat, Dasharat, Shakyuni, Karambi, Devarat, Devakshatra, Madhu, Kumavanj, Anu, Kurumatra, Anzu, Satvak. Satvak was the forefather of a clan that was named after him.